Oh boy. Oh boy. All right. Let's start her up. Oh boy, I got the uniform on. All right. The Bottom Line Bombs on the Sports Gaming Podcast Network is presented by WynnBET. WynnBET is now live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia. From boosted same game parlays to live in-game odds. What's going on? Am I doing wrong, Kramer? All right. Now you're good. Ryan Kramer with the keyboard. Well, all right. Where was I? Sign up today. Bet $100. Get $100 at sportsgamingpodcast.com/WynnBET. That's sportsgamingpodcast.com/WYNNBET. State restrictions apply. And with that, play the music. And welcome to the Bottom Line Bombs. I am CJ Sullivan, the man in the box. I was just left in the box. Ryan Kramer, the tech guy, came in for his keyboard. They don't even let me have a keyboard. I guess it was I got a keyboard somewhere. Welcome. We're here. Conference championship weekend. There's only 3 games left in the season, and I am here to bring it home for you. I kept on going. This was the show, the Bottom Line Bombs. If you've been keeping up with me all season, it was a circuit contest picks, which we lost, and Survivor, which we also lost. We did good last week, though. 4-0. We're going through the playoffs. We went 4-2 wildcard weekend and 4-0 last week in the divisional round. Not bad. Swept the board. And now we only have 2 big games coming up here. AFC, NFC Conference Championship game. What happened last week? Let's get into it. By the way, thank you for coming in on the YouTube stream. And if you're listening on SoundCloud, make sure to give the 5-star review. And I got another I didn't get a review on iTunes. Someone got an review on iTunes. iTunes, you can leave that poignant review. I'm on the NFL Gambling Podcast Network right now. I'm about to get my own feed. They didn't start me off my own feed. After these playoffs, I'll have my own feed. Bottom Line Bombs will be completely separate. We can just review me and me only. Right now, I'm mixed up with the other shows. I love all those other shows in the NFL. But when people leave reviews, you don't know. It's hard to tell who they're talking about unless you can obviously tell who they're talking about when it's me. Like when it's the guy who rambles on about a situation in an elevator, that's me. Another review was, this guy sounds unprepared and half asleep. That sounds like me too. But I have a nice coffee, so I don't think I got a lot of high energy. I bring papers and passion. Unprepared. I bring papers, the analog man. If you're watching on YouTube, I got the clipboard. You hear that? That's a clipboard. That's why I put my papers on. Because you can slam a clipboard. You can't slam a laptop. That's what I've always said. I got to bring papers and passion, cut down the trees so I can play my tees, 7-point tees. Anyway, 4-0 last week. So that was great. Let's get into it because it's even though we only got 2 games, we got a lot to discuss. So 2 huge games. Last week, Buffalo, that was a big loss. They got smoked by Cincinnati at home. We predicted that. Well, we took Cincinnati plus the points. I didn't know they were going to kill them like that. Buffalo is so it snowed. It was bad out there, and I've been saying this. I have been saying this all along. The Buffalo team is not prepared for Buffalo weather. People just assume, home field advantage. You're going to be up there in the Buffalo. So yeah, Buffalo. The Bills do not want to play in snow. It paralyzed them. I gotta keep my words. Be careful with the language there when it comes to paralysis, because they did have Damar Hamlin, who's not paralyzed. They did show him a lot of a lot of people just assume to just rally around Damar Hamlin. They went through a lot of emotion too. There was an article in Sports Illustrated. It was amazing. It said the season moved on. Like it or not, especially in Buffalo. And then they went through all the tragedies that Buffalo went through last year. Damar Hamlin's heart attack thing, obviously. Heart attack thing. That's that's sensitive language. And they brought the fucking They had a racist mass shooter who shot up that grocery store, killed 10 people. This guy throws this Sports Illustrated article, compares the two. We had a snow blizzard that killed 40 people. All right, 47 people. You want to throw the snow blizzard in there, okay? But Jesus Christ, with the mass shooting and the Bills losing a game, they're not quite the same page. The Bills losing at home was more unexpected. I mean, I say that as a joke. Obviously, I had to be reminded of that Buffalo mass shooting. Like, oh yeah, that was this year, was it? It was like a couple months ago. Because mass shootings are so common here. Somehow, these shooters get around all these thoughts and prayers that the politicians put out there, and still get to shoot up places. There's 2 this week here in California. Anyway, so yeah, Buffalo lost in Buffalo. They need next year. I think they don't have to change their. I'm not saying change your style of play because they don't run. They refuse to run the ball to running backs, which you kind of need to do in the snow. They just have Josh Allen do everything, which you can't do apparently. Just next year, just go for like the 6th seed or the 7th seed. You know, stop winning all these games during the regular season. Get yourself some nice road games. Go down to Miami for a playoff game. Head out to LA. Play the Chargers out there. You'll beat anybody as long as it's not in Buffalo. It's pretty funny how the team of Buffalo hates the city of Buffalo. But couldn't get it done for DeMar, which is a shame. I like the conspiracy theories that came out about DeMar Hamlin. If you go online, there's people don't think that was actually DeMar Hamlin in the booth waving or doing that heart gesture. They did bring him in. It was weird. They showed him coming in, like they brought him underneath the stadium in a car, and they had like a blanket over his head, like he was like one of Michael Jackson's kids or something. Blanket. And then they just like shovel him in, like it was like or like when Reagan got shot and they like rushed him into the car, but they're rushing him out. Like everything caught like just paparazzi and like, calm down. Like, why are you being so secretive with this guy? That was kind of weird. And then he's in the booth, and every time they show him, there's DeMar in the booth. But it was just blizzard of snow. You couldn't tell it was anybody. And he was covered up. They're like, no oxygen tank. There's a lot of good conspiracy. Body double conspiracy, which conspiracy theories are hilarious. They just cannot let anything go. His son was next to him. So the son was in on this conspiracy? What are you saying? They're saying he died. And then they're just putting up this body double this weekend at Bernie's for DeMar Hamlin. Why? Why would they be doing that? Because we have to keep the season going. They'll tell us afterwards. Yep, the wife and kids are in on the prank. They got paid off. So that's good. There is a thing, though, if you actually... I'll indulge a little bit. In Cincinnati, when the game happened, when DeMar Hamlin had that heart attack, the ambulance that takes him off the field isn't the same ambulance they show driving away from the stadium to the hospital. So what does that tell you, little listeners? It tells you that people are idiots. Anyway, what was the better loss was the Dallas Cowboys, of course. Everyone loves to watch Dallas Cowboys lose. The Dallas are the worst. I mean, I think Dallas is leaning into their thing of being America's loser because they're America's team for every asshole. They're an asshole's team. They are. That's what America's team means. If you're an asshole who grew up in a town who didn't want to root for the town's team, whatever they grew up in, because they wanted to just be contrarian, they like the Dallas Cowboys. Those are called assholes. And then there's all these always viral videos every time the Cowboys lose of these idiots smashing their TVs and can't their fucking deck jerseys. Smashing their TVs in that final play. Of course that trick play was, that was a great. They did rob us. Usually I said last week, Cowboys are going to lose and they always do it in some great comical way for us. It's their gift for us. And they did. That last play was kind of funny. The safety would have been funnier. Dak rolled back like 30 yards into the end zone for a safety, but then they didn't bring him down because he was too afraid to hit him because of all these quarterback roughing the penalty calls. I don't blame him. So that safety would have been there. So instead they did a last play where everyone was spread out, little giant style, and Ezekiel Elliott was the center. And the Niners were like, "Hey, I don't think they're like I think they're actually going to run this play with just this running back there who's never blocked a guy in his life. Let's just blow him up." And they did is blow Ezekiel up, and then they throw the ball 5 yards. Guy gets tackled. Game over. I actually didn't mind. People were making fun of him. I didn't mind the play as much. I'll get into it in a second as we welcome some commenters in here. I'm going to take my glasses off for a second just because they're a little dirty. Welcome Jeff Klinger to the show. He says the ambulance switcheroo. It's like when Bob Barker gives you $100 bill for landing on $1. Off camera, they take it back and give you a taxable check for $100. Taxable check. Jeff is our tax attorney. He likes to come in and tell us about the I always like the attorneys and tax attorneys love to tell you how awful it is to win on a game show. Last thing you want is a car. Trust me. It'll kill you in taxes. Right there to stomp on your fun. The old ambulance switcheroo, though. I like that as a problem. Anyway, that the Cowboy last play, they spread them all out. There was all these receivers and stuff on there, which is they were halfway there. Why do they have to throw the ball? I don't get it. Like, okay, you're going to do the laterals. All right, well, let's throw it 10 yards, then do the laterals. And they throw 10 yards, the guy gets tackled immediately. Why even bother that? Why do you have to do it? They just like, well, we got to do it just to get everyone in rhythm. Just snap it right to your punt returner back there, your CeeDee Lambs or whatnot. Had them back there 20 yards like it's a punt. And then start your lateraling then. I like having all the receivers out there. Hell, put 2 quarterbacks out there on each side. Make them throw 10-yard fight style, sideline to sideline. I don't know. We'll get into that. That's just I just don't understand why they do the pass. That whole game was it was kind of what it was. A Tony Pollard injury was awful. I will say that was the only time I felt bad for Dallas. Then I felt bad for us, the announcer crew. J Mark says, "What's up, man? How you doing, J Mark? We'll glad to have the show. J Mark, part of the new XFL show that I'm doing with J Mark and Colby D. That's a fun show. I'll get into that a little bit later. But first, real quick, the last thing on the Dallas Cowboys. Their kicker missed an extra point again. Was hilarious. And Jerry, he missed him, I guess, in practice. Jerry Jones is on the field talking to him. That I'm sure that helped. That old Skeletor, a billionaire toy oil tycoon Skeletor, giving the kicker a pep talk. Yeah, I'm sure that's not going to help. Tony Pollard breaks his leg. Aaron Andrews is down there. What are these fucking whatever. I don't want to hate on Aaron Andrews. Who got $100 million lawsuit settlement, still wants to do this job. Why do you still want to do this job after getting $100 million for that Peeping Tom lawsuit? Anyway. No update on Tony Pollard. No, these silent reporters don't give any updates. Well, earlier in the week, I sat down with Dak and he said he likes oatmeal cookies. Like, what is the fucking point of all this? The whole it's so weird how much money these announcers make now. There's a thing now that Greg Olson is this beloved announcer because Tom Brady might retire. He's going to get whatever, $35 million a year to take his job. So there's a story that we all love Greg Olson. Like, oh, we do? We love Greg Olson? Is that it? Who put that out? Oh, Greg Olson's agent. Okay. All right. Makes sense. Anyway, that was the game's J Mark says you can tell Pollard is bare with his injury because he retweeted me. He's bored with his injury. You're right. Tony Pollard retweeted J Mark's XFL column. I know. That was a good moment for us in the XFL show. Tony Pollard retweeting. And I like Greg Olson. I'm not saying I don't mind Greg Olson, but like who's swelling? Where's the street swell for like you better not fire Greg Olson? Okay, I don't know. Not all these announcers I don't really care about anymore. We'll get into the other sideline reporters, Michelle Wolf. Let me do a quick read and then I'll get into that sideline reporter. Anyway, Welcome to the Bottom Line Bombs. Is what I'm trying to say here. This show's going to get fun. Let me get more coffee in me. Let me do a nice professional ice swilled coffee into the microphone. Woo, we're going to give out both championship game picks with bombs and a man in a box segment at the end. Of course, got a long man in a box segment. Long championship games. We've got to stretch this out. But first, let me tell you about WynnBET, the official online sports book of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Live betting, same game parlays. The NFL playoffs are here. There's great promos, odds, and payouts are happening right now at WynnBET. Ready to play? Sign up today. Receive a special offer. Bet $100. Get $100. Limit the state availability. And, of course, if you hit the biggest long shot parlay of the week, you get $1,000 free credit. That's pretty good. There's so much to choose from. All you have to do is head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET so they know we sent you at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WINNBET. Offer subject to change. Terms and conditions at WynnBET.com. Must be 21 or older, present in the state where play through WynnBET is available. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, and you do, like I always say, if you're listening to my show and you subscribe to the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, you have a gambling problem. But not all problems need solved. Call 1-800-522-4700 and report someone else. Snitch someone else's gambling problem. Like I said, I like to report my bookie's gambling problem. Keeps calling me for money. What a sicko. All right, welcome back to the Bottom Line Bombs. J-Mark coming in there with, former Bear Greg Olson. The Bears traded your Greg Olson, buddy. Don't forget that. Olson never forgets. We never forget. No, there was no need to trade Greg Olson. He didn't fit, what was it, Dick Duran's offense or something? Some ridiculous scheme. Doesn't matter. Point is, you guys did Greg Olson dirty. So you Bears deserve what they get with that. All right, let's start off with the late game first. Cincinnati and Kansas City. What was I talking about, the announcers? Yes, I was. They did a thing where Cincinnati beat Buffalo last week. They played Buffalo. And then the sound bite that went viral is it Tracy Wolfson, the side report, like, well, Joe, what do you think about the whole? Because the Buffalo won, which we all expected, it was going to be Buffalo, Kansas City at neutral field. So they used that as motivation, Cincinnati fake motivation. What do you think about the neutral field? Better get your refunds ready. Hope they got the refunds ready. Oh, that was such a staged fucking fake situation by Tracy Wolfson. You can see her queuing it up like, okay, Joe, you ready? I want to ask you about this neutral field. And you got your line ready. You want you look into the camera? We got 2 cameras for you. It was so staged. It was almost as staged as that Skip Bayless video of him throwing his Dak Prescott jersey into a trash can as a 71-year-old man. That was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. If you look that up online, he's like, I'm sick of it. He goes, and throws the Dak jersey down. Thinking that people are going to get worked up about that. No, we hate how ridiculous you are anyway. So Cincinnati's creating this us versus the world thing. I will say this. Cincinnati did get screwed. This game should also be in a neutral field. If the Bengals won, they were going to get the number 1 seed. Like, fuck off, Bengals. Your guy didn't have a heart attack. I love that thing, though. You better get your refunds ready. How do you think ticket sales work, Joe Burrow? You think we could do this day of? We had to wait to see if they're going to beat the Bengals. If Buffalo's going to win, then we can just sell day of the event. Like Live Nation is going to come in. This is how you sell tickets in advance. We can't. The Bengals did the same thing for Jacksonville because they didn't know if they're going to. Maybe they could have played Jacksonville, so they had to get those tickets ready to go in advance. This is how things work. This is how events work. All right, Taylor Swift tickets out today. She's playing tonight. What a fucking ticket master. That's in the news. Eddie Vedder. He was right all along. Those surcharges are fucking insane. Speaking of tickets, Jesus Christ. You want seat geeks and shit? Like the fees are double the price of the tickets. Anyway, fake energy for those Bengals. So this line is, what is it? Cincinnati. They're plus 1.5. It opened up with Kansas City like -2. Then everyone bet Cincinnati. Then Cincinnati was favored. And I went up to all the way 2.5. Cincinnati was favored. And now it moved all the way back to Kansas City's favored by 1.5. This is a lot of movement this week. And it's moving because of Patrick Mahomes. He got injured versus Jacksonville. And he sprained his ankle, high ankle sprain. Nobody knows. And nobody knows how it's going to be. So everyone's speculating. Sometimes like, he can't play. Like at the end of the game, Tony Romo was like, yeah, I had that. The next week I couldn't walk. I could play that game, and the next week I didn't walk. So then everyone bet Cincinnati. Then some stats came out. Well, Mahomes had his previous injury before, and he threw 4 touchdowns the following week, a couple years ago. All right, back to Kansas City favored. And like, well, Gronk says he couldn't fucking do keg stands on his ankle. Okay, make Cincinnati favored. And there's a video of him jogging, Mahomes jogging straight ahead. Okay, well, I'm not sure that has anything to do with football, but he's jogging. That's good. Straight ahead. He's not pivoting at all. Here's the thing. Patrick Mahomes is going to play. Is he going to be as efficient? I don't know. Andy Reid, then the big movement came when Andy Reid went on Tom Brady's podcast and said he's going to be fine. So then the huge movement came, and now Kansas City's favorite again. Tom Brady's podcast. Who's listening to Andy Reid on Tom Brady's podcast? What a fucking indulge. Why does Tom Brady have a podcast? Does every single fucking... All right. What is he going to say? That actually came out this week. Remember, that was pretty funny. Jim Gray asks him on Tom Brady's podcast, hey, what are you doing next year? And he snapped. He goes, what? If I fucking knew Jim Gray, then I'd fucking tell you. That's what Tom Brady snapped. Jim Gray people just love cursing at Jim Gray, though. That's kind of Jim Gray's thing. You can just berate him and feel good about it. So people are like, it's a put on. No, it wasn't. It wasn't a put on. It's like when Charles Barkley got misquoted in his autobiography years ago. He's like, what about this quote? Because I got misquoted. It's an autobiography. Yeah, but I didn't actually write it. Same thing with his podcast. Tom Brady has nothing to do with his own podcast. Like, it's his own podcast. So why is he angry? First of all, that's my bit, Tom Brady. I'm the one who gets angry at his own podcast. You're stealing my man in a box bit. I scream at me. But he goes in there like it's an interview and just screams at Jim Gray. He doesn't even know it's his podcast. He just is another fucking interview. Then they tried to say he was joking. Tom Brady was just joking. No, he wasn't. First of all, Tom Brady doesn't know how to joke. Tom Brady's never made a joke in his life. He's a wooden toy, but not as endearing. He can't even smile. Well, he is. He's kind of like that Tom Hanks guy. He's a dull block of wood that happens to be able to play football for 50 years at a very high level. He was just kid. He doesn't do kids. Stop fucking do. Every celebrity doing their podcast too is this especially. All right, whatever. Tom Brady wants to do a podcast. First of all, I don't know why. You have nothing to say. There are people who have shows like Stephen A. Smith has his own podcast. Stephen A. Smith, you don't get enough. You're talking on air for 3 hours a day. What could you possibly have left to say? Why do we need more of this shit? Or Conan O'Brien. All right, I guess Conan O'Brien's show got canceled. But you had a podcast when it's like, fuck off. Celebrities and podcasts ruined everything. It's like when college kids go back to high school and go to high school parties and just ruin it. Like, what the fuck are you doing here? You're supposed to be having adult fun. Stop ruining high school parties. That's celebrities doing podcasts. Anyway, so now I move to because Andy Reid was on Brady's podcast. What an exciting podcast that must be. On the Let's Go podcast. That's how you know Tom Brady wasn't joking. The name of his podcast is Let's Go. What a fucking dork. I like calling a billionaire dork who had sex with Giselle. Nerd. Oh God, I'm the best. So anyway, I think Mahomes will play, but I don't think he's going to be as healthy. He can't be. Maybe they'll put him in shotguns. They'll adapt. It's not going to. It'll be a disaster if Chad Henne plays. That's for sure. People are trying to say, it won't be that bad if Chad Henne plays. He had that 98-yard drive. First of all, that 98-yard drive, it started with an interception that was dropped. It should have been a pick six. Then Pacheco had like a 50-yard run. It had nothing to do with Chad. They're acting like he was John Elway driving versus the Cleveland Browns or something on that 98-yard drive in the second quarter. And then he stinks. He's always, that's his whole thing. Anything is possible. That's it. Okay. By the way, those Cleveland Browns who lost those back-to-back AFC championships. That's what I do like about AFC championship games. They have a history of crying, and like that's the thing about these games. The NFC championship game and AFC championship, they have a history of goats, not Tom Brady goats, greatest of all time. Like goats as in people to blame for their losses. And the Browns have the drive with Elway, and then the fumble with Ernest Biner. First of all, and the Cleveland Browns fans love talking about how close they were to the Super Bowl. Yeah, you were close to getting massacred by the 49ers and Redskins and every other NFC team in the Super Bowl in the 80s. You should be happy that we remembered your loss of Elway beating you guys. Those teams are so. You basically had a Chad Henne as your quarterback. Anyway, the whole 80s, those 80s AFC teams in the AFC teams in the 80s when they lost like 16 straight Super Bowls. They're so overrated. And we look back at them, and now they get credit for. Now the history is back. Well, maybe we should think they're okay. Like those Bills teams that lost 4 in a row. I love Jim Kelly. Yeah, no one will ever do what we did. You were the 7th best team in the league, and you got slaughtered every Super Bowl. We hated you guys. They're like the Bon Jovi. Like we look back at the 80s hair bands. Like, yeah, that was just a fad, man. That was pretty, not just a fad. We were a movement. Yeah, you were the best of the hair bands, but you were awful. Great, Bon Jovi. You made a lot of money. But your genre of music was terrible. Like, yeah, the way they talk about it. Then Nirvana came along because, we were just all the same. So it had to be someone different. No, yeah, you were all the same. Awful. The Nirvana and alternative music and grunge was good. That was the difference. Anyway, what am I talking about? The Bengals? Anyway, so, yeah, Bengals Chiefs. Possible new overtime rule. That hasn't happened yet in the playoffs. There's a new overtime playoff rules, and it's because of these AFC Championship games. Every time the Bills lost a game, they would change the rules because they wouldn't get the ball. Well, first Kansas City lost, New England, they didn't get the ball. Then we cried about that. Then Buffalo lost, they didn't get the ball. So that does put in play. If you do have the over, that might be the first official bad beat. I like the under in this game, by the way, 47.5. But I can see that under losing to the new overtime NFL rule where it's kind of like college where you can go touchdown, and then a third score. So you can get 17 points, 20 points, shit, in overtime. That could happen. Anyway, let's move on behind this whole Pat Mahomes ankle thing, Tom Brady, Andy Reid podcast. So I think Joe Burrow, he's just different. I don't like how everyone likes the Bengals, but now everyone liking Kansas City back and Kansas City at home. It should be a good game. It's a shame that Mahomes is not 100% healthy. Also, his O-line said, "Well, now that we know he's hurt, we're gonna make sure he doesn't get touched. We're gonna really block this time." Before we were kind of blocking because we knew he'd be running around, but now we're like, okay, now let's really block, guys. Huh? What do you say? What do you say we earned that $8 million and block? Before, we kind of blocked, but we weren't really into it. Like we'd lean a little bit, like, yeah, he's just gonna come back, but like, our MVP is a little gimpy. But it will not be enough Cincinnati Bengals, even though it's at Kansas City, very loud. Very loud arena, home field advantage. Maybe the loudest in the league. As Trevor Lawrence learned last week, and Trevor Lawrence said, Jacksonville's just as loud as Kansas City. Been that riled up Kansas City. He should have said, well, at least that racist chant's pretty loud they do, the tomahawk chop. So, whoa. Let's detonate a bomb for the Bengals. Cincinnati Bengals plus 1.5. Bomb it. Look at that sound effect. All right, let's do a quick. I think we're done with the ad reads. I will all right. We're done with the ad reads. That's good. I'll plug the merch store real quick. Sports Gambling Podcast Network store. SGPN.store. And as you can see, I'm wearing, if you're watching YouTube, the Man in the Box shirts. Look at that. Let me point the camera. Let me see if I can lock it in on it. Kind of. Yeah, Man in the Box. Also have Bottom Line Bombs, hoodies, and T-shirts. That's so fun. I'm wearing my own merch. I put the me in merch. My face in a box on my chest. Stretched out. I'm wearing this ridiculous hat. The derby hat, the gambler hat. Someone said I pulled it off. That's why I wear it. Yeah, you pull it off. Which I just think means it doesn't matter if you wear it or not wear it. You're not going to look good either way. That's what you pull it off means. I can't take a compliment. That's that Irish Catholic in me, as Colin Quinn would say. All right, let's move on to the second game, the early game, Sunday, Philadelphia versus San Francisco. Another crazy home field advantage. Deebo Samuel just said that San Francisco is louder than Philly. I love how that's a headline. It's the same thing with Trevor Lawrence last week. If I was Trevor Lawrence, I would have said, yeah, Kansas City's pretty loud. I know that racist chant they do is loud. But why are they? I mean, what are these players supposed to say? I don't get mad at these players for like, how dumb can you be? Well, why are you asking them these questions? Hey, who's louder? What do you want them to say? That their crowds aren't fucking loud. So Deebo Samuel said, yeah, San Francisco's loud. At the end of the day, I think our stadium is louder. So that's going to put, I love the bulletin board material for fans. Oh, wait, the Philly fans hear this. They're really going to scream violence. They're going to be fucking hammered anyway. They're, but the 70,000 people are going to have a bulletin board at home because they all have bulletin board. Actually, if anyone does have a bulletin board, it probably will be Philly fans in their houses. It's never in the locker room. Eric Acosta says, I think they meant pull that hat off of your head. You pull that off. Pull that off your head. I know I should fucking pull this off. No, I'm keeping it up. You pull it off. You pulling off that hat is also it's akin to you clean up nice. It's very almost as passive aggressive as that. Oh, you clean up well. Look at you. When you shock someone when you dress, you usually look like shit, but now you clean up. Would you put a hose and a sponge behind your head or something? Like you wash an elephant? You clean up nice. Look at you. Yeah, I stood in a bucket in the bathroom and then got scrubbed down. And I put on a tie. Oh, look at this. Anyway, San Francisco, Philadelphia. I'm going to this game. You believe it? I can't either. Got a free ticket offer. Got a free flight. I was going to do that show in Wilbur, Boston. In Boston at the Wilbur Theater. Things happened where I'm not doing that show now, which is fine because this opportunity opened up and I'm going to this Eagles NFC Championship game, which is pretty sick. I've been to a lot of Eagle playoff games. I'm from Philadelphia, Eagles fan. A lot of playoff disappointments. I grew up with playoff disappointments. Things changed when they won the Super Bowl a couple years ago. It doesn't really have that same negative dread, like we're going to lose. With Andy Reid and McNabb, I wasted my entire 20s on Donovan McNabb, where they lost 4 straight NFC Championship games. And they would lose a lot. And Buddy Ryan, Randall Cunningham, they would just always lose horrendously terrible home playoff losses, like to the Rams, Redskins. It's just ridiculous. Teams I couldn't believe they were in the playoffs winning. I went to the last time I went to I didn't go to the last NFC Championship game when they won. But I was at the last final game they lost, NFC Championship game versus Tampa Bay, when Tampa Bay won the Super Bowl and beat Rich Gannon and the Raiders, when John Gruden knew the entire fucking playbook. It was the last game at Veterans Stadium, the infamous stadium in Philadelphia, that prison where there actually was a jail. The turf was concrete and it would just rip knees apart. Awful stadium. We love it. But so it was the last game at the Vet. Big home field advantage. Big, huge NFC Championship game. Tampa Bay. It was something like they never won a game when the temperature was below 35 or 40. They like pushing the temperatures, those stats, so whatever you want. There's another thing with Joe Burrow, too. They said Joe Burrow is always won when the temperature is below 41 degrees. Like 41 sounds specific, pretty specific. Why would you say that? Oh, because a month ago when they got crushed by the Browns on Halloween night, it was 42. So we didn't want to throw that in there. Anyway, Tampa Bay, famously with the Warren Sapp Tampa Bay Bucks, never won when it was like 35 or below. So enter Andy Reid and Donovan McNabb, and we, of course, lost. Even though they're up 10-0, Brian Mitchell almost brought the opening kick to the house, and Deuce Staley scored. Anyway, Tampa Bay won. Joe Jarovicius ran 90 yards or something, or there was a 100-yard interception return off McNabb where he was doing like Tecmo Bowl zigzagging. Like it seemed like it took 30 seconds for him to run it back. He was just doing laps, laughing at all Philly fans. And I've been to Philly games where things were violent and bad. This one was more of a funeral, because this was what we were expecting to go. It was the last game at the Vet, and people were just kind of just shocked and just like, what the? It was freezing. The alcohol wears off, and you're so cold. Like, oh God, what did we do with our lives? People were ripping the seats out because they wanted a piece of the Vet. Like it was a walking funeral of a city. It was a city funeral. And then, the whole city was green. I'm sure like what it's going to be now. But then it's so crazy. So the next morning after they lost, we had to go to the city. My family, my mom was getting, she had breast cancer. She was having this major surgery to have a tumor removed from her lung or breast or something. I don't know. She had cancer, like 5 different. The reason I can't remember is because she had like 4 different kinds of cancers back and forth. She is shockingly not with us anymore. Although she did survive a long time. Longer than my dad did. My dad's like, fuck this. You would light up cigarettes after chemo. He did 1 round and I am out. And I'm like, can't blame you. Anyway, where was I? So the next game day, so my mom had scheduled surgery at 5:30 in the morning. So you had to go early for those surgeries. So we're driving across the bridge. The bridges were green and like the lights were green, like the Walt Whitman and Betsy Ross, and they're flickering in and out the next day because it looked like a zombie ghost apocalypse town. It's empty, trash is flying everywhere. It was just one of the most depressing scenes you ever saw. Then we go into the hospital. Everyone's depressed inside the hospital. The nurses, newspaper headlines, like, fuck this, pretty much saying, well, what's the point? That's the headline of the Philadelphia Inquirer and Daily News. And the doctor comes by. I'll never forget this. The doctor comes by, like, he's just giving us the rundown. He's like, oh, man. What a game yesterday, huh? What a terrible game yesterday. That's what the doctor opens with. Like, it was bad, Doc. What are you going to do? McNabb lost again. But you're okay, right, Doc? Can you going to snap out of this? You're about to cut my mom open. Andy Reid, I know he likes to choke sometime, but come on, let's snap up. No, I'm sure I'll be fine. I guess. It's just that, I thought we were going to finally do it, Tampa Bay's never lost in the call. I just thought we were going to do. I know, Doc. What can you? And he did fine, I guess. He left. I think he left the foam finger inside of her, though. Anyway, so we'll see. I'm going to go out there and be a part of that violence. The fans are violent. And I'm going to say that San Francisco, they travel well, as they say, and so we'll see. And they do like the shit. They show their shit, and they're fucking obnoxious. But just like the Niners themselves, they haven't been on the East Coast I think all year. I think they played 2 games out here. I was like versus like Tampa Bay, like in September. They haven't played. They played like 6 straight home games or something. They played like 2 road games in the last 3 months. It's something crazy. So I actually think I like the Eagles. This is actual analysis. I'll give actual analysis when it comes to the fans. Jeff Klinger says the show used to be good, but now it's 45 minutes in and no tips on tonight's game. Tonight's game. You're looking for the college basketball report, not tonight's game. But if you really want a college basketball play, I'll give you Michigan plus 5.5. That's a free play for you. The Eagles fans will be locked up. Last week the game was at night, so people were worried about it. Philadelphia didn't open up the parking lots till 3 p.m. because the game was at 8 o'clock Eastern. So they wouldn't. So the thinking was they won't be able to tailgate all like they're going to follow the rules. Anything they do with these Philly fans, and I'm one of them, we're animals. They're legit animals. They get inside places. They're like rats. So the parking lot wasn't open till 3 o'clock, but of course the Philly fans got a way around it. They're across the street at the old Spectrum parking lot. There was some like indoor lacrosse game like at noon. So they all bought tickets to that and sold out that game for the first time ever, just so they can go to that parking lot and fucking tailgate for 12 hours. Eagle fans they're legit animals. That's why there was a prison in there. The one story, the one guy, even this year, did you see that guy who got out? He snuck down the field and ran out with the team. That was amazing. It was like a Sunday night game. And then, when the players come out, with a gladiator style and they come running out, he was out there running with them, hammered. There's a great video of the police arresting him. He's just hammered. And the player's like, what'd you think? Like, I didn't know who he was. I thought he won a contest or something. You know how many assistant coaches there are? They all look the fucking same. One time there was a fan got into the press conference. He snuck in. He was so drunk. He's asking Doug Peterson, so you got Eli Manning next week, huh? What do you think? Is he a pussy or what? Like, what? Where are you from? Don't worry about my credentials. That's what he said. They're all like fucking rats. So I'm going to go be a part of it. Can't wait. So if we're going to do actual analysis, this is what I wrote down. Brock Purdy, the sensation, the last pick of the draft, Mr. Irrelevant. Dallas was the first actual defense he played last week. He did not look good. He did not do well, but they did enough to win just because Dak Prescott's awful. So, and Eagles have the number 1 pass defense. First tough road game. But I will say this: Eagles haven't played anyone either, but neither is San Fran going on the road. I do like Philly's pass defense for that. Eagles will not be able to run the ball either. San Francisco is a great defense. San Francisco is great, except for the quarterback sneak. No one can stop that. That's why I love how Nick Sirianni, that was a big story this week too. Not big story. Yesterday, the awards finalists came out for Coach of the Year, Most Improved Player of the Year. And I'm going to do a award show, I think, next week for Bottom Line Bombs. But Nick Sirianni was was left off the list of Coach of the Year for the top 3. And people are mad, which is kind of bullshit. I mean, they almost went 16-1 if Hurts didn't get hurt. But I also agree with it because you think like, what has Sirianni done? What is this innovation? Why are the Eagles good? And what his gift to the NFL this year, the copycat league that it is the quarterback sneak. He's perfected the quarterback sneak. Thanks for bringing a rugby play. I love it's such a gross formation. Here they are, just shove you. Hurts, you run for it, and we'll just shove you. We'll shove your spine and head into this pile. And every team's going to do it now. Great. It's fun. It's very exciting. Can anyone space it out? But so they will be able to throw the ball in San Francisco. San Francisco does one bad thing. It's just one way to hurt them is that you can throw deep on them. Dallas could have done that if Dak Prescott wasn't awful. He did hit CeeDee Lamb once, and he missed T. That was a big thing. Dak was getting killed all week for not throwing to T.Y. Hilton on this one play where he was wide open down the middle or something. It would have been a touchdown, of course. Like, look how bad Dak is. I'm like, I don't blame Dak that much because he couldn't believe T.Y. Hilton was still in the league. 2, he couldn't believe T.Y. Hilton was still on his team. And what's T.Y. Hilton doing out there? He probably thought it was illegal if he threw him the ball. He can't be on the official roster, right? Eric Turner wants Pete Carroll in the top 5. Yeah, why not throw Pete Carroll in there? Pete Carroll, not to get distracted, he was great because they played San Francisco the first round, that third time. The classic case of it's hard to beat a team 3 times unless that team is much worse than the other one. Costa said last week. Pete Carroll, they were running the ball very well. There's with their rookie, Kenneth Walker, who's up for rookie of the year. He had like 65 yards at halftime, and then they didn't run him, and they were winning. They were winning at halftime, and they ran the ball well. And like, I heard you're not allowed to run, you can't run the ball on them, so we're going to stop doing that. So you just stopped doing it. Fucking Pete Carroll. 9/11 truther, Hermosa Beach man. So that'll be fun. Some good award show. They have rookie of the year, Kenneth Walker, and they might have Geno Smith as comeback player of the year. What did he come back from? Being Geno Smith. He's up against Saquon Barkley and Christian McCaffrey, who'll be playing in this game. Christian McCaffrey, of course, coming back from an injury. Saquon Barkley always come back from an injury. McCaffrey got lucky. He got traded to San Francisco. But I like those two guys, 2 great players, coming off horrible injuries, and they're up against Geno Smith. And what do you come back from, Geno? Oh, I was just Geno Smith my entire career. Terrible. So everyone just thought I was going to be terrible, which I was towards the end, but for a little while I was okay. So here I am, coming back. And Jared Goff's like, wait a minute. I had a better year than you. Yeah, but you were bad before, but not as bad as me. You were at a Super Bowl somehow. I'm Geno Smith. I'm awful. I was awful. But I'm back. Anyway, so the Eagles will be able to throw the ball. That's a little bonus thing. If you want to do props, I like A.J. Brown over. I think it's like 70 yards. It's a long one, but he was the only one who didn't do anything versus the Giants last week. The Eagles crushed the Giants last week, and A.J. Brown pouted because that's what professional players do nowadays. They don't care if they're winning. I mean, he cares if you're winning, obviously. But he shows frustration. I shouldn't say that. It's more of cameras on everything with social media. Like LeBron James scored 46, and he was pouting the other day on the bench. He was hilarious. LeBron James is hilarious. He's such a drama king. But A.J. Brown, it looked like he was angry because he wasn't getting any action when everyone scored. You can't blame A.J. Brown. When everyone's scoring, people's little sisters are scoring. I mean, Boston Scott scoring. Come on. Did A.J. Brown get something? So they asked him about it. And these are fun quotes. He obviously was pouting, which is fine. But you can't admit that because he has to be acting like he's a team player because he knows Philly fans will definitely turn on you if you don't act like you're a team player. He goes, I'm never the receiver that's going to go on the sidelines or try to cause problems on the sideline. I'm not that guy. You were that guy. And you were causing problems. I think, this is what he says. I think what people describe as a diva. I think that's what you guys are talking about, right? Diva, Mike but I'm not that person. I'm a guy who goes to talk to the quarterback or the offensive coordinator, and I talk. That's what I do. These are actual quotes. I'm not really a guy to try to cause commotion on the sideline. I've never been that guy. Who saw that guy? You said I'm that guy? Where's that guy? Oh, you have film of that guy? That's me? Am I that guy? Yeah, you're that guy. Anyway, A.J. Brown is that guy. But anytime he does complain about that, they will have to feed him. So I'll give him A.J. Brown. So I would like the Eagles. I'm going to go there and be a part of grease the poles. That's what I don't know if they will climb the poles. We'll see. It's supposed to be 50 degrees. So weather won't be a problem. That was a must for me. I got a free ticket, free flight. But if it was going to be below 40, I like like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will not play in the fucking cold. I'm a pussy now that I'm in LA. That blood leaves you quickly. I am get me a heat lamp as I'm dining outside, scarf in 55-degree weather. Kind of guy. But we'll see. So Eagles are -2.5. That line went up pretty quickly from 1 to 2.5. Yeah, it's just different. They used to always lose these games, and ever since the Super Bowl happened, as long as they don't bring Sly Stallone in there, that was part of the problem. They finally dropped bringing Stallone in for all these big games to do a goddamn Rocky thing. Enough with the fucking. He's not even from Philly. He's this New York actor. I've already told you about that. First of all, let me detonate that bomb. Philadelphia -2.5. Those are my two plays. Cincinnati +1.5. Philly -2.5. Where are we at with the clock here? 50 minutes. Jesus Christ. I only talked about 2 games for 50 minutes. Jeff Klinger, you're right. I am I am doing a lot of babbling. Yeah, I've talked about that before in this show and before that. People like to give Philly fans a lot of shit in general. But you need us. You need us on that wall. Because every fans are terrible, any fan, but they need to look down on someone else. And Philly fans are the ones everyone can look down upon. Because at least I'm not them. And that's what we lean into. We are those scumbags. You need us on that wall. We will be that scumbags. We will eat horse shit, whatever it is. We will climb the pole. We'll need grease our poles with Crisco so we fall down off them. We will be those people. And like, they're racist because of a rock. That was that famous Bill Burr rant, which whatever. Funny rant. It's Bill Burr. Obviously, it was in a terrible situation. I'm not saying that, but it was factually incorrect. We didn't build a fucking Rocky statue. Rocky Stallone himself left it as a gift. That's what happened. He made the movie. He goes, all right, guys, here's your gift. A statue of me. Where do you want me to keep it? In front of this world famous museum you have here? Is that cool? Yeah, no. Museum's like, yeah, no. Can you get this fucking guy from this Tango and Cash off our steps, please? We don't need every idiot running up these things. So yeah, it wasn't our choice. Anyway, let me move on to Man in the Box. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot. I got a new sound. Right, ready? Yes, I have CJ Sullivan, the Man in the Box. I was supposed to do that when I talked about the merch. Let me do that again. That's as much as we're allowed to play of the Man in the Box. We don't have any more rights to that. Although I welcome Alice in Chains to sue me. I bet they'd enjoy the show. Not the dead one, but the other ones. All right. Welcome. Like I said, we got the 2 picks. Let's do a quick Man in the Box. January 26th. Ooh, the day Kobe died. I just found that out today. 2 big things. That Kobe died 3 years ago. Can you believe that? It's been 3 years since Kobe Bryant died on helicopter crash. My uncle, speaking of Uncle Kevin, I talked to him last week. The Giants fan, where we used to always talk trash and calling. I actually let him go a little bit. Even the Eagles beat the Giants so bad, I kind of felt bad for him. He called before the game to kind of get out of the way. He knew it was coming, and I kind of let him be. He's getting older now too, anyway. But he was out here in Los Angeles with my cousin PJ. They're 2 big Sullivan boys walking around Hollywood, visiting. Quite the trip. Having them fucking banging around this town, and they were here when Kobe died, and they couldn't believe, they didn't realize how big of a deal. Like, oh, look at that, Kobe died. I'm like, yeah, he's kind of a god here. Like, they couldn't believe everyone's reacting. We're at this bar on Hollywood there. That girl on the goat or whatever the fuck it is. Good bar. And my Uncle Kevin, I'm not lying, he asked the bartender if they could turn off the coverage on the TV and put on the Pro Bowl. He's like, enough's enough already. I mean, if there's an update, switch back, sure, But how much are we going to see this smoke? Isn't the Pro Bowl on or something? Yeah, Kev, I think it's kind of a big deal. Anyway, that was fun. It's also Bob Uecker's birthday. 89. He trended on Twitter, and I thought, oh, I don't know if he didn't die. The old Denzel Washington meme where he's like, oh. That's going to be weird when Denzel dies, and they tweet that thing. Oh, when you think he dies, that fake heart attack thing. Bob Uecker, 89 years old. I like when shows just announce celebrity birthdays. Just random celebrity birthdays. Fucking ridiculous. Radio shows do that a lot. As I'm doing it. I will say, growing up, Bob Uecker used to have a show, like a Saturday afternoon or morning show. Kind of like Johnny Bench's, his whatever show that was. The Bench Crew. What was that called? The Johnny Bench Bunch or something. There's another one, Bob Uecker's Wacky World of Sports. Welcome to the Wacky World of Sports. That was the theme song. Welcome to. So it was a Bob Uecker show, and it was sports skits. And I have a best of VHS tape. I love the hose bag was a big term for him, Bob Uecker. He would problematic bits. I remember a bit talking about kickers. He was doing an interview with kickers, and they would always have him being Middle Eastern. Haji Buddha Goodwin. It's a guy's name. Haji Buddha Goodwin. Good old meathead humor. Haji, what do you think about kick? Well, in my country, we don't have Super Bowl, we have bowl of soup. That was a joke on Bob Uecker's Wacky World of Sports. Anyway, 89 today. Bob Uecker. He would go on Johnny Carson, ramble for 45 minutes. Back when TV would just let you have at it. Johnny Carson show was an hour and a half every night. People don't understand that. An hour and a half. That's why they're smoking during the show and drink. Like, they got to settle in and talk, chill. Just fucking do a man in the box segment. All right, what did I want to talk about here? In the man in the box, as I just did. Oh God, I'm getting late. I broke up with cable this week. That was a big thing. I called Spectrum, and I know everyone's cut the cord years ago, whatever, and I never could do it. And I could do it. Obviously, I could do it, but it doesn't make sense anymore because it was all for live sports. Because people, the way people used to sell cutting the cord and cable always made me weird. Like, oh, you got to cut cable. It's great. And I go, okay, what about the game? Well, I can't show you the game, but I can show you a documentary about baseball. You want to watch 12 hours of a Ken Burns documentary? No, I was thinking about the game that's actually on. No, I can't do that. But anything else, I can stream for you. That always made me weary. And and so now so many people have cut the cord and cable. They've just upped the price. Cable just ups the price because they know now they're just preying on old people who are just too afraid to change. And I was one of those people. Just afraid to change. And so I did it. I called it up, and I knew going into it. It took me a while. I was nervous. It was like a breakup. I was really nervous about. I'm going through a divorce, and this was much. It was a much tougher fight going through this. I knew Spectrum itself. It's Spectrum and a cable company. They have people. They're hired to try to keep you on the line and keep you going. They don't want to end this relationship. No. They want to work it out, and you got to tell them this is not it. Though it's been weeks with me staring at the phone, and I had to make a phone call. That's the thing; they make you make a phone call. You can do everything else online. I can pay you $200 a month online, no problem. Matter of fact, you don't have to log in. We'll take it. We'll automatically take it out of your account. We'll auto pay it. Don't even think about it. Yeah, we don't want you looking at what we're charging you for because it's not just a fucking cable. It's all these fees. You got a fee for the box. And how often do I have to pay for this box? When is this box paid off? Toll roads have been paid off quicker than this cable box. It's like $15 a month for years. How much does this thing cost? Tell me what it's cost. I'll pay up front for it. Anyway, so I called up. How can I help you? Cancel cable. You know what I'm calling for. Why does anyone call cable companies anymore? Because my TV's out. I'm not 90. You can tell by my voice I'm not 95. So I'm calling to call. So I'm calling to cut cable. And she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, well, why am I ask? Are you doing this?" I'm like, you know why. That's what I said. I'm like, you know why. It's insanely expensive for what you provide. We don't watch. No one watches it anymore. We watch a couple things. Okay, I get it. She knew that. She knew that answer right away. I get it. We all have budgets, don't we? She likes, she has good tactics. She was good. She had good tactics. She goes here late. Um, well, I'm just a little concerned for you. What are you going to do for entertainment now? That's what she said. I'm a little concerned for you. What are you going to do for entertainment? I don't know. Go outside, maybe. How about I haven't been outside in years because of all your amazing cable programming. Because of Bravo Network and TLC and The Deuce. I haven't been outside. I made her laugh. Then I felt good. Oh, I'm making her laugh. But now it's kind of like a stripper. Does she really like me, or is she just trying to get my money? She's just trying to get my money. So she laughed at that go outside bit. She goes, "Oh, I'm a little worried if you haven't been outside in a while." Well, I'm like, yeah, I'm rolling with it. I see people out there now. I can't wait. She goes, "Okay, well, what channels did you like? Maybe we can do something with that. With channels." No, we can't. We can't do this. You know we can't do this. I know how this goes. You know how this goes. No more. Absolutely not. All right. But then she goes, "But we're gonna have you keep the internet, though, right? Obviously, until internet can find a place of its own." That was the deal I had to make. All right, cut the cable. Internet stays until internet can get on its feet. You can stay here. We won't get in each other's way. We won't make anything harder on each other. How about your mobile phone? Are you happy with your mobile phone? What was this some last ditch effort to try to get me to do group couples therapy or something? Yeah, you switch you over to you don't like saving money. You just told me you like saving money. That's what she said. You just told me you need to save money. Why? I have a chance for you to do it. You don't listen to me. That's what she's badgering me with. You don't listen to me. Anyway, me and Spectrum are going to give it another shot. I got the premium package. She gave me a nice 2.5-year deal. No, it did not. Anyway, that's going to, it should pretty much do it. Me pulling off this hat. I'm looking at my face here. That is the man. And don't forget to get your man in the box, merch and Bottom Line Bombs. At the SGPN merch store. I am CJ Sullivan. Thank you for listening. I have some other things I wanted to talk about, but it's all right. It's too late. I've gone over an hour. It's time to wrap this thing up. Follow me on Instagram. CJ Sullivan was taken. I am not doing that show in Boston that I've been plugging. It's all right. I'll be at the game, so enjoy the games. I will be in Philadelphia in 2 more weeks, though, at Punchlines. Super Bowl weekend. That'll be a nuts weekend, especially if the Eagles win. If they do not, it'll be horrific, like my mom was having surgery again. So get tickets that 2 weeks, Punchlines. Anyway, that's it. Thank you. And goodbye. And play the music or do something.